the Para Cave Podcast, proudly brought to you by Rubbish Removal Kings, The Corner Post, Flash Conveyancing, Parramatta Leagues Club, Wine Barrels Event Hire Sydney, and Wick Coffee, proud sponsors of the Para Cave Podcast. Parramatta Leagues Club, home of the Eels. Across from CommBank Stadium, it is perfect for your pre-game meal at one of the many options to eat, and also a Jack's Pale Ale as well. Or simply have a roll in Kicks 10-pin or play one of the many arcade games as well. See you all there pre-game at Parramatta Leagues Club, or simply head to the website www.paraleagues.com.au to see what's on, and don't forget to sign up as a member today to enjoy one of the many member-only options. Parramatta Leagues Club, proud sponsors of the Para Cave Podcast.
Let's go! Welcome back to another show. Hi, how are ya? It's a Para Cave Podcast coming at ya. Turn it up, feel the vibe, blue and gold, step inside the cave. Yeah. Easy try in the corner. Here's your host, Troy Warner, coming to you live from the world famous Para Cave.
Hi, how are ya? Welcome back to another episode of the Para Cave Podcast. This is the NRL Round Review Podcast, round number 8. Troy Warner here. My co-host Ben, shout out to him. He will not be joining me tonight. He has some other things to attend to, unfortunately. So, unfortunately, it's just me tonight. We hope everything is okay with Ben, so give him a shout out. He'll be back on deck very soon, I think, but thinking of you, Ben, and family, that's for sure. But anyway, this is the Round Review Podcast, and you have me to listen to for the entire podcast, so I hope you're up for that one. Look, I'm recording this at 9 o'clock at night on the Sunday night after the Parramatta Eels, after I got back from Four Pines Park, after the Parramatta Eels went down to Manly 33-18. So look, I'll try and keep this upbeat and as best I can and whatever, but look, let's just get through this round. Now, it was a very special round in the NRL. It was Anzac Round, and look, I would like to congratulate all the crowds, because I think there was all but one game sold out. I think that was the Cowboys Sharks game, but there was I think it was a record for attendance in the NRL this round. Pretty much every game was sold out, so which is a fantastic effort from you, the rugby league fans. Even Para fans turning up to Four Pines Park. There was 17,000 there or something. Yeah, across the NRL, it was a fantastic effort with the crowd numbers, and I'll go through those ones through each game, but a massive congratulations to the fans. And it is a special round, the Anzac Round, and look, I'd also like to congratulate all the fans as well, because from the games that I watched, pretty much all of them, and being at that game today, during the minute silence, it was silent throughout the whole thing. So well done to you, the fans, for that one. Very respectful of the weekend. Now, it all kicked off at Leichhardt Oval on Thursday night, and the West Tigers got the victory, 33 points to 14 over the Canberra Raiders. 17,153 there. It was 6 tries to 2. Look, the Canberra Raiders, I don't know what's going on there. They were leading 14 points to 10 at half time. Looked like they were in control of that game, but then Adam Dewey, he really stepped it up. He scored 2 tries, one in the first half, one in the second half, and kicked 4 out of 6 goals, and also a 1-point field goal as well. That's why it was 33. Just to rub salt into the wound, that was in the 74th minute. But look, the Tigers, they are playing an exciting brand of football, aren't they? They have just turned it around this season. And they, as I said, playing an exciting brand of footy. Adam Dewey in the halves, he's probably having his best season so far, to be honest. But Royce Hunt even got across the line in the 78th minute. It was a big barnstorming front rowers try too. It was about a 30-metre effort, I think it was, from memory. That was way back on Thursday night. I think this was like a 30-metre effort. So, look, a great try to big Royce Hunt there. And the Tigers, they march on. They are playing some really good footy, offloading, scoring some great tries. And Coach Benji Marshall has got them where I think he wants them to be at the moment. The Raiders, on the other hand, well, look, I don't know what's going on with them. It's completely different to last year, but look, we know they've got new halves combinations. Obviously, they're not gelling at the moment, but it's a very different Canberra Raiders side at the moment. How can they turn this around? They're down near the bottom of the ladder. Compared to last season where they were up on the top of the ladder and being minor premiers. But yeah, I just don't know what's happening there at the Raiders. But look, that was a great win to the Tigers. Move on to the Cowboys now. A little bit of news after this game. I think it was that Scott Drinkwater has scored. Well, he did score in this game, actually. He scored the first try of the game and played really well too, to be honest. But he has signed a 3-year deal with the St. George Illawarra Dragons beginning next season. So he is on the move down to Wollongong, I guess you could say. I think that's where their headquarters are. But he is off to the Saints next year for 3 years. So a good get there for St. George Illawarra. Potentially means that Clint Gutherson will have to move position, maybe into the centres, probably. Maybe. I don't know where he'll play otherwise, but obviously Drinky will be the fullback down there. So that came out after the game. But look, the Cowboys, they needed to get this win after having a couple of losses, I think it was. But Murray Tuolangi, he scored 3 tries. Good to see Helam Lukey get another try this season as well. As I mentioned, Scott Drinkwater got a try, the very first try. Reid Marnie, he got a try as well. From, I think it was like dummy half, and look, he let Oregon Kafusi know about it too, didn't he? If you saw my story a couple of nights ago on Friday night, he really gave it to him. I guess he was just excited, and I guess maybe it was because it was Oregon and they were former teammates at the Eels in 2022, and just having a bit of fun there, a bit of banter. Reid just got across the line there, but he was pumped up. There was a moment there where I think they made a mistake as well, the Cowboys, and he was pumping up. He was something like, what the hell was that, or something like that. But look, KL Idoro, he got 3 tries. Sifa Talakai got a couple as well. But look, the Sharkies, this was a high-scoring game. I mean, if you score 34 points in a game of rugby league, you think you're going to probably go close to winning it. But the Cowboys were winning 26-12 at halftime. As I mentioned before, the crowds, 17,886 at this game in North North Queensland. It was the 6 p.m. game on the Friday night, and look, I'm not too sure what that stadium holds up there. Maybe it's 25,000, 27,000 or something like that. I'm not quite sure if it's 30, but still, nevertheless, a great effort to get that crowd there. And the Cowboys, well, they march on as well. They cut a few wins. They beat the Broncos a few weeks ago. I think they had a loss last week. I'm just trying to see it now, but they just completed their sets. 51% possession, 80% completion rate as well, which, sorry if you can hear that. I don't know what's going on outside there, but so apologies if you can hear that. I can hear it through my headphones, but anyway, we move on. So the Sharkies, I don't know, they're sort of a bit up and down this season. I don't know how they're going to go this season, whether they can stay in the top 8 or what, but they certainly have to win those games at home. A lot of people thought they were going to struggle. The next game, Friday night, Brisbane took on the Bulldogs up there at Suncorp Stadium, and a really good, healthy crowd, 42,775 there. It was a 6-2 victory for the Broncos. And look, they had their players out, Reece Walsh, Payne Haas, Pat Carrigan, so they Corey Jensen as well, but look, they just really stepped it up. Shibasaki got the first try, Karapani got the next one. The Broncos, they were always in control of this game, 20-0 at half-time. So they were always in control of this game, and they didn't care whether they had those injuries out or not. They really gave it to the Bulldogs, which I thought maybe the Bulldogs might have stepped it up against the Broncos this week after they lost to the Eels the week before. I actually tipped the Bulldogs, unfortunately, and now I've got egg on my face. Why did I tip the Bulldogs? I don't know. But yeah, the Broncos, they really turned it on. 6-2. Adam Reynolds, he was vital to this game as well. Again, he's just having a fantastic farewell season. So the Broncos, they're getting these wins in a row now, and they are climbing up the ladder slowly. We'll go through that at the end, but the Bulldogs, well, look, that's a couple of losses in a row now. They are slipping down a little bit now on the ladder. What is going on there? Stephen Crichton, he did return, but he returned on the other side of the field, not his left-hand side centre position, which he usually likes to be in. So potentially that was something. The sin binning of Harry Hayes in the 28th minute, what did you think of it? I thought it was pretty stupid, pretty lazy. Just sort of stepped back and tripped over. I forget who was running through at the time, but it was a trip, and just didn't need to be done. Stupid play, dumb play, and it got him a sin bin in the game as well. And shortly after that, Dean Mariner got a try. So look, cost his team a couple of tries actually. Corey Pakes got over as well. So the Broncos, a really good win for them. They were just they only had 49% possession compared to the Bulldogs, who had more possession, but their completion rate was way much better than the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs just kept on making mistakes, handling errors, dropping the ball and the like, but the Broncos 93% compared to the Bulldogs 72%. So we have seen in this NRL competition, if you can hold the ball, you are going to win games. So that was for sure in this case. Now, to the very special day in the calendar, and that was Anzac Day. That was the Saturday this year, and look, I went to the Penrith dawn service, which was a very nice service, as was, I am sure, all of them around the country. A great celebration to get into, celebration, reflection, and look, there would have been dawn services all around the country. So, but I went to the Penrith one. There was a massive crowd at that one. So that kicked off the day. And then it was the big game at the Sydney Football Stadium, or Allianz Stadium as it's called now. 40,381, a great crowd there at Allianz Stadium, pretty much full. I think it might hold about 42,000 or something like that, but 62 points to 16, unfortunately, for the Dragons. So their losing run continues. So, look, they've got the new interim coach, Dean Young, now. So a tough first assignment to go up against the Roosters on Anzac Day. But it was 11 tries to 3 romp for the Roosters. And at times, it just looked like a training run, to be honest. 2 quick tries to start off the game to Sam Walker, who won the player of the match, and then to Siwa Wong, he got one 2 minutes later. Sam Walker got one 7 minutes later. In between that, Mark Nwanganitawase, he got a try. He actually ended up with a double. Daniel Tupou ended up with a double as well to add to his try scoring tally. So he climbs up the ladder. It was 34 points to 4 at half time. Luciano Leilua, 16th minute, was a sin binning to him. Absolute silly effort. I don't know why maybe it was a brain snap, I don't know, but absolutely dumb play. Daniel Atkinson's one in the 29th minute. I thought maybe he was a little bit hard done by for that one, to be honest. I thought that could have went either way. So, but unfortunately for the Dragons, in that first half, they were 2 men down for 20 minutes in that first half. So that is always going to harm you. That is for sure. Sam Walker got a try in for the Roosters in that period that Leilua was off the field, and when Daniel Atkinson was off the field as well. Robert Toya got a try, Marky Mark got a try, so 2 tries in that period as well. So that was pretty dangerous as well. James Tedesco, look, is he staking a claim for the New South Wales fullback position? I don't know. Obviously, Dylan Edwards is the incumbent, and we'll get to him a little bit later. I think he scored a double against Newcastle. But James Tedesco is certainly putting his case forward to get that fullback position for New South Wales. But look, I think Dylan Edwards will get it, to be honest. But, I mean, James Tedesco, he's really knocking the door down. He wants that fullback's position back. But, yeah, poor old St George Illawarra Dragons. Look, they've got the bye this week, fortunately for them. So, look, they've got a lot of work to do. Obviously, I thought their best 2 players were Setu Tu, who scored a try, their Dragons' first try, and also I thought Cade Reid, he did really well in his debut. Look, he didn't set the world on fire, but look, I think he just did his job. He threw a couple of good passes. I think that one led to a try. But look, it was a pretty solid debut. Look, there was one effort there where who was it that scored? I think it was I can't remember who it was. It could have been Nah, it's gone from me now, to be honest. So I apologise about that one. But leading up to that play, he got bumped off, but he got straight back up again and tried to make the tackle on the try scorer, but unfortunately wasn't able to. But look, I think that just shows you that the commitment he has to the jersey, because I mean you get bumped off and that close to the line, and you know, he gets straight back up, tries to make the tackle, but the try was going to be scored anyway. But nevertheless, they were always going to run traffic at him all day, being the new kid on the block, so to speak. And look, I thought he went really well. It was just for the Dragons, again, that completion rate, 68%. Roosters, 81%. They had about 4 more minutes of the ball as well. And look, the line breaks 7-2, tackle breaks 30-24. The Roosters pretty much just beat them in every facet of the game on Saturday, which was pretty disappointing for the Dragons. Kicked the Fusel 9%, so there was Max Fine. I think he had a shocker with a couple as well. But look, the poor old Dragons. Look, as I said, they do have the news next season of Scott Drinkwater coming, and I think it was also announced today that Phil Sami is coming down to the Dragons on a 3-year deal as well from the Gold Coast Titans. So, look, they are slowly building and they're slowly signing some players. Obviously, they've got Keon Kolomatangi coming as well. So they are losing Jaden Sewer to Parramatta next year. But they are signing a couple of players. So, look, I don't know. I think it could be a couple of long, hard years for the Dragons in that rebuild phase. And I don't know how long it's going to take them to get back. A lot of people are saying it's the merge thing, de-merge, and just have the Dragons and just have the Steelers, but I don't think that's going to work, to be honest, because I think they still have to be one entity. They just have to work it out. Good to see a game over in New Zealand on Anzac Day, and that game was the Warriors taking on the Dolphins at, I think it's Henry Stadium. The E is missing in the title, but that one was at Wellington. It is called the Cake Tin. That's its nickname apparently because it looks like a cake tin, and yeah, it probably does. But look, this was an entertaining game, and a game I thought that the Dolphins were really in control of. Look, they scored 18 points in the first half, and that's where their scoring ended. Jermaine Osako got a double. 17th and 19th minute, Herbie Farnworth got the first try for the Dolphins in the 10th minute. Alafiana Khan Pereira, he got a double. Now, how good is he going since he's got to start at the Warriors? And look, it just shows you once you get that opportunity, he's grabbed it with both hands and scoring tries. And look, we all knew up at the Gold Coast he scored plenty of tries. And he's carrying that form into the Warriors team as well, which is great news for you Warriors fans. Look, the Warriors 85% completion, Dolphins 74%. The Warriors had more ball. Look, the crowd, I should have mentioned that one as well, 34,812. Which was a great crowd again in New Zealand. They really love their footy over there, their rugby league especially. But look, I think this is a game that the Dolphins will rue, because if they miss the top 8 by 2 points, this is a game that they could have and probably should have won. They were in control for most of the game. Tom Flegler, he got a sin binning, which didn't necessarily impact the game too much in terms of scoring, because it was after the Warriors scored their last try, but it did hinder the Dolphins being a player down. Now, I think it was a late tackle of a player not in possession or something like that, rushing up out of the line. it just didn't. I don't think it was rushing up out of the line, but it just did not look good, and he got 10 in the bin for it. But as I said, this is a game that the Dolphins will rue losing, because if they miss the top 8 by 2 points, then they can go back throughout the year, and this is a game that they should have won. They were in control of this game in that first half. The Warriors scored the first try of the game, but then it was all the Dolphins. 3 tries in 9 minutes. Which gave them a really good advantage. But then the Warriors, they stuck to their guns, and they plucked the lead back and never looked like losing. But yeah, the Warriors, that was a great win by them, and entrenches them in the top 4. The Dolphins, look, they will be really disappointed they lost that game. How about this next game? This next game was down in Melbourne. It was played in front of a crowd of 25,694. It was 48 points to 6. It was a 9 tries to 1 victory to the Rabbitohs. First time they've ever won in Melbourne after, what was it, about 25 years or something like that, was it? First time they've ever won in Melbourne. So 48 points to 6. This is the Melbourne Storm's 6th loss in a row. Craig Bellamy has come out, I think, in his press conference and said this was the most embarrassing loss he's ever been associated with. And yeah, I don't blame him. Alex Johnston, he added to his try-scoring tally. He got a double. But Tallis Duncan as well. Could he be a smoky for State of Origin for New South Wales? I don't think he'd be short. He wouldn't look out of place, I don't think, in a Blues jersey, but he got a triple. Ewan Aiken got a try. Matt Duffy, he got another try as well. Campbell Graham got one. Latrell Mitchell, 5 from 9 with the boot. But in the 68th minute, he's just nailed this 60 metre field goal. 40 metre field goal, I should say. How silly am I? A 40 metre field goal, which was worth 2 points. But yeah, what a strike it was. Pretty much sort of went straight between the posts, and he just sort of like turned around, and it's like, yeah, I kicked that. Look, it was 24-0 at half time, and the Storm, they did not get on the board until the 69th minute in the game. But what a try it was from Suafailongo. It was a short a short kick-off after the Campbell Graham try, and he got the ball back and basically just weaved his way through the Rabbitohs defence, and it was a 50-metre try, basically. And look, he didn't look too happy by scoring it, to be honest, because obviously they're down all those points. But, it could go down as one of the tries of the year. Could go for try of the year contender, but it was a cracker of a try. I would not be disappointed about that one at all. But obviously at the time of the game, when they're losing by that much, then, yeah, you just... I scored a try. I still put the effort in and scored the try. But, look, there was that 10-13 minute period where the Rabbitohs just scored 4 tries and just really muscled the game away from the Melbourne Storm. So, look, Latrell Mitchell, he played really well again. Missed a few conversions, and sometimes I think, well, is he going to kick this one? I think he's a good quality goal kicker, but unfortunately then he misses that one. I think, what's going on there? But then the harder ones, he can get those ones, and he gets those conversions. But nevertheless, it was not going to cost him the game anyway. But the Rabbitohs, they are playing some good footy at the moment. Cameron Murray, I think he went off for a HIA but then he came back on. I think he might be right for next week. But yeah, 25,694 on the last game on Anzac Day. Then we fast forward to the Panthers and the Newcastle Knights up there at McDonald Jones Stadium. 23,986 there. A fantastic effort once again for Nova Castrians getting up there. I'm not too sure how many Penrith fans are up there, but look, I did not see I didn't see the full game. I did see the first half, however. Dylan Edwards, as I said before, he is putting his stake to claim that number 1 jersey for New South Wales, because three tries in 20 minutes, the first 3 tries of the game, which, is nothing to be sneezed at, to be honest. But Brian Toto got a double, Isaac Tungo got a try as well, Freddie Lussick, Nathan Cleary got a try as well. It almost looked like Nathan Cleary touched the ground when he went over the try line, but smart play. He kept the ball up and made his goal kick a lot easier. He kicked 6 out of 8 for the match, 24-6 at half time. Penrith were always in control. Dylan Brown got over for a try. Phoenix Crossland, that was a determined run to get his try. It was a determined run from a hooker who was probably playing a forwards role. But Penrith just had way too much possession, 56% compared to Newcastle's 44%, and about 6 more minutes possession, I should say. 77% completion, 65% for the Newcastle Knights. One player who I think will be pushing for New South Wales origin spot is Lindsay Smith as well, the Panthers front rower. I think he may get a front row spot for New South Wales. He did tour for the Kangaroos, or with the Kangaroos, over to England last year, so don't be surprised if he gets that origin spot in Game 1 in Sydney. I think he might. Payne Haas doesn't look like he'll be available, so there will be an opening there. I should have mentioned in that Warriors game, Mitch Barnett suffered a concussion in that game as well, so he won't be available next week for this game against Parramatta, but that might not hinder his origin chances. But look, I definitely think Lindsay Smith will get this win. Now, look, a little bit concerning now for the Newcastle Knights. It's a few games in a row they've lost now. The Panthers, look, they just march on, don't they? Top of the table. They're looking pretty. Now to the game that I was at, and look, I won't give too much away in this one, as I still need to do the review of this game, which will be a very hard review to do again, because the losing reviews are always really hard to do. 33 points to 18 in favour of the Manly Sea Eagles. Now, there was 17,298 or something there, or 329 I think it was, at the ground. It was pretty much packed on the hill, but it was a 6-3 victory to the Sea Eagles. 7-6 at half-time, not the sort of score that line you would see. Pretty disappointing from a Parramatta perspective that Jamal Fogarty kicked the field goal right on half-time. But still at 7-6, you thought it was anybody's game. But then after half-time, there was four quick tries between the 49th minute and the 62nd minute. Lehigh Hopewadi, Ruben Garrick, Jamal Fogarty, Jason Saab. And look, Parramatta, they did score second to get that through Brian Kelly. but Jake Trbojevic got the first try for Manly, but then a couple of consolation tries for Parramatta, Mitchell Moses, Luca Moretti. Look, very disappointing game as a Parramatta fan, but there'll be more in that one in the review podcast, which will come out very, very soon. I am thinking maybe Tuesday morning for that one before we do the preview for the Warriors game. But Manly, that's 4 wins in a row now under new coach Kieran Foran. And look, they're all calling it Fosball, aren't they? Fosball. Yeah, so when will Manly lose a game? Who knows? But maybe next week against Penrith. I think they may lose their first game under Kieran Foran because I can't see them beating Penrith, to be honest. But you never know. Rugby league is a strange game. Look, some great games over the weekend of the NRL, and as we go through the ladder, I should say also too, there was some more news or some big news for the Newcastle Knights. I should have mentioned that in that game against the Panthers. But Kalen Ponga has re-signed with the Newcastle Knights until the end of 2030, I think it is. So some massive news for the Newcastle Knights there, and great news for them, to be honest. There was reports that he was going to go to the Roosters or maybe even rugby somewhere as well, but he has stayed with the Newcastle Knights, so big news for them. Let's get to the ladder, and look, the Panthers, they are on top on 14 points. They've only lost the one game for the season. The Warriors, Tigers, Rabbitohs are your top 4. The Roosters, Sea Eagles, Broncos and Cowboys are the top 8. Outside the top 8, Sharks, Bulldogs, Knights, Dolphins, Titans, who had the bye this weekend, Raiders, Eels, Storm and Dragons, who still unfortunately haven't had a victory this season. If we look forward to next week's games, round number 9 in the NRL, still 8 games this weekend, or next weekend I should say, which we will do a preview of. Kicks off on Friday night. I think the Women's Origin is game number 1 is on the Thursday night. So there is 3 games on Sunday, which really sort of mixes it up a little bit, but I think it's the Women's Origin on the Thursday night. That's why there's no Thursday NRL. But watch the Women's Origin, because I think that will be a really good game between New South Wales and Queensland. They always put on a great spectacle. But anyway, looking to next week, Bulldogs take on the Cowboys at Accor Stadium. Dolphins take on the Storm at Suncorp Stadium. Expecting a big crowd there. The next game is the Titans and Raiders, so 2 teams that are close together down the bottom of the ladder. Saturday 3 p.m. Saturday 5:30 p.m. the Eels take on the Warriors at CommBank Stadium. Saturday 7:35 p.m. it's the Roosters and the Broncos. On Sunday the 3rd of May, very special day for myself. It is my birthday on that day. So if you see me at the Eels-Warriors game, come and say hi. Wish me happy birthday for the next day after. If you can remember that, all that time away. Just quietly, that's my birthday game. But Sunday, Knights and Rabbitohs up there in Newcastle. Sharks and Tigers at Shark Park, and the Panthers take on the Sea Eagles at 6:15 next weekend due to 3 games on the Sunday, and the St. George Illawarra Dragons have the bye. So, look, they'll get 2 points, their first 2 points of the year, courtesy of the bye. So some really good games coming up again next week. Probably looking at it now, I guess maybe the Sharks and Tigers, Roosters and Broncos. Look, the Knights and Rabbitohs. That could be a good game. If Newcastle at home, they won't want to lose too many games at home. But the question is, will the Dolphins get the win over the Storm? Storm have 7 losses in a row. If they lose that one, who knows? But anyway, we will do a preview of the NRL round number 9 throughout the week, so stay tuned for that one. Look, thank you very much for listening to my round 8 review of the NRL. I hope you really enjoyed it. Look, flick me any questions you want. I'm happy to answer them in the preview podcast. Please share this with your family and friends. Give me a follow if you are not already on Apple, Spotify, whichever platform you listen to. Also on Instagram and Facebook as well. That would be most appreciated. Look, I hope you enjoyed your round of rugby league. Look, Parramatta lost. I still enjoyed, despite that, I'll take that one away. I still enjoyed my round of rugby league, as I always do. A very special round in the NRL, the Anzac Round. So thank you very much for listening. The Para Cave podcast, by the fan, for the fans. Go Para!
Thanks for listening to another